Hello, Caroline. My name is Lily, and I'm going to be walking you through the session today. Before we begin, I have some information for you, and I'm going to read it to make sure that I cover everything. You probably already have a good idea of why we asked you here, but let me go over it again briefly. We're asking people to try using a website that we're working on so we can see whether or not it works as intended. The session should take about 5 minutes. The first thing I want to make clear right now is that we're testing the site, not you. You can't do anything wrong here. In fact, this is probably the one place today where you don't have to worry about making mistakes. As you use the site, I'm going to ask you as much as possible to try and think out loud to say what you're looking at, what you're trying to do, and what you're thinking. This will be a big help to us. Also, please don't worry that you're going to hurt our feelings. We're doing this to improve our site, so we need to hear your honest reactions. If you have any questions as we go along, just ask them. I may not be able to answer them right away since we're interested in how people do when they don't have someone sitting right next to them to help, but if you still have questions when we're done, I'll try and answer them. And if you need to take a break at any point, just let me know. Do you have any questions so far? No? Okay. Before we look at the site, I'd like to ask you a few questions. First, what's your occupation? What do you do all day? I'm a student. Now, roughly, how many hours a week altogether, just a ballpark estimate, would you say that you spend using the internet, including web browsing and email at work and at home? Probably around 5 hours a day. And what's a rough split between email and browsing? A rough percentage? Probably 20% email and 80% browsing. And what kind of sites are you looking at when you browse the web? I mostly look at Facebook, Blackboard, BuzzFeed, Netflix. Do you have any favorite websites? Not particularly. Okay, great. We're done with the questions and we can start looking at some things. First, I'm going to ask you to look at this page and tell me what you make of it. What strikes you about it? What site do you think it is? What can you do here? And what it's for. Just look around and do a little narrative. Well, this site looks like it's definitely for hiking. A UVM student's guide to hiking in Burlington. Very interesting. It's a nice little scroll and hover action. I like the name of the title. I like that it's really light up here so you can see the text very easily, but it's a really great image in the background. And I like the bottom bar, so there are 2 different navigations. Thanks. Now I'm going to ask you to try doing some specific tasks. And again, as much as possible, it'll help us if you can try and think out loud as you go along. So can you tell me some details about Camel Hump? How far away it is, how long it takes to hike? So I'm going to assume that Camel Hump is under the most popular. Yeah, there it is. So Camel Hump is, what did you want to know? Okay, how far it is and how long it takes to hike. Okay, so it's 5.6 miles away and it takes 3.5 hours to hike. Okay, thank you. Can you find the resources page? It's not on the top navigation, so I'm going to try the bottom one right there. Looks like there's some good resources on what to do when you're hiking. Okay, great, thank you. Can you tell me which hikes I can find in Washington County, Vermont? I'm going to look at maybe the closest. Okay, nice pictures here. Mount Philo? No. Mount Ellen? Yeah, that's in Washington County. Mount Abraham? Yeah, that's also in Washington County. Okay, great, thank you. Can you find an organized hiking trip you can take through UVM? Maybe the UVM Outing Club? Great, okay, yeah, here are trips right over here. Okay, thank you so much. Now, can you pick a hike that you would want to go on this weekend? I've never done Mount Abraham. I think that one looks interesting and it's nice and close. Thank you. That was very helpful.